Hi everyone, Religious Fanboy here again, and today we are discussing for this lesson mostly Promised Neverland Episode 2, Part of 3. I'm thinking about possibly for the rest of the series combining episodes when discussing, since I'm gonna be discussing overall themes in the show. The main thing that will be discussed today is the difference between what has been referred to by some people as lies, like traditional lies, and reasons for those, as well as what has been considered to be lies of omission, and as well as being secretive, more commonly identified as. Um, we see this as a heavy point of conversation with Emma and Norman Ray when they are discussing and strategizing on how to save themselves as well as the other children at the orphanage slash plantation. Like in episode 3, it's referred to as a plantation. Um, where Isabella, the person that is the hired mom, is like she puts up a front to make it basically preserving product, because one of the main things that the demons eat. Oh, and same disclaimer for the whole rest of the series we're doing and the series itself. This show talks about demons in creepy ways. Um, so if you are someone that is susceptible to spiritual warfare stuff, I would recommend skipping this. Um, but if you're feeling comfortable and you're okay, that is fine. We can continue discussing. I can. I will put in a time card later for when I talk about the. Actually, I'm going to talk about the Bible verse now, like the Bible story now, so that if you're just here for that, you can leave right after we're done with that. I will make references to it in the context of the show, but this is the main story. The scripture that we'll be referring to today is can be found in Mark chapter 7. It's the story where God heals a, my translation says dumb, but since part of the text later on in the story says, when talking about and describing the miracle, alludes to something being done with the tongue, we could assume that dumb would or infer that dumb in this context would be used to symbolize being mute, which means you're unable to speak, like physically can't speak. But I wanted to talk about it because of the end of the story, where God instructs the man that he's healed of his blindness. This is the story where he kind of spits in dirt and covers the man's eyes with it, and then they wash that off, and when it's washed off, and thanks to that man's faith as well, and Jesus responds to that, he's able to see again. Well, he's able to see for the first time. Yeah, I assume, because they said it, like, he had been blind, I think, for 37 years. So, but this story, we're reading out of the book of Mark. Contextually, Mark is thought to be written by Mark, but is heavily based on the Peter's memories of Jesus. And this point, we could assume, by Jesus telling the man to not say what had happened and to not say who healed you, that this was early enough in the ministry that Jesus felt that it was not time for people to know who he was and what his, like, know that he was, have the public know who he is and know everything about him yet. And we see, even despite this, they still, the man who was healed and the people that around him, celebrate and praised Jesus. And see how even with that, and later on, that the ministry was not obstructed by his actions. And like with this story, there are other stories where people that Jesus had done miracles for does not say his name to people, but just say what that he had done for them, and usually just saying, this man or a man did something for me, like with the woman at the well and the person who was healed at the sacred baths by the synagogue, I think. And we also see God withholding aspects of the truth even in the book of Revelations. I want to say it's chapter 5, where the narrator, who is thought to be John, either the apostle John, like the member of the 12 disciples, and the that was cast out onto an island where Jesus is thought to have appeared to him and is showing him how the world's going to end, as well as other images such as the throne room and new heaven, new earth. And that's the context we have, and it is generally perceived for what is going on in the book of Revelation. But there is a point where an angel specifically tells the narrator, expected to be John, not to write something down. Much like so if spiritual warfare is a problem for you and you're feeling uncomfortable right now, this would be a good time to leave. If you haven't, I don't think I'm gonna talk about demons more, but just in case, I told you when the main Bible chunk is done, so like it's done now. But like Jesus with and like God, how he withholds information from us. Like we don't know everything that God knows, and that's why faith is required to trust him and to follow him. But if we do that, our lack of knowledge of the full situation does not inhibit God's plan. In fact, it strengthens our relationship with him, with God. And it by challenging us to have faith and trust, like how the younger kids that aren't being told this information about Isabel and Corone and the nature of the plantation by Emma, Norman, and Ray are gonna need to trust them, and if they trust them, they're gonna hopefully be able to. I say hopefully because I don't know how before it goes. I'm only 5 episodes in. Um, and we see them, the kids, being able to still be prepared and get to the point where they will soon be able to be trusted with more information and will be able to escape. They, in episode 3, they start training the kids on best way to escape Isabel and Corone and escape the plantation through practicing by playing tag. Like they are still playing tag, but we see how Ray, Norman, and Emma are giving not just criticism like Norman would give in the game of tag we saw in episode 1, but giving them constructive, practical advice, like helping one kid learn how to cover his tracks, and teaching kids that they need to be more aware of not only their footprints but Norman's. And these aren't things that are overtly said to convey to the kids as helping them learn how to escape, but these things will become important as their escape plan goes more underway and advances. And with that being said, I hope and pray that you take away from this video and from this episode, if you watched both of these things, whatever God intended for you to take away from. And I hope if you do struggle with spiritual warfare or worried about it, I hope and pray that you have good people in your life. I should still have a link to my Discord server so you can talk to me, or if there are people in the church near you that you feel close to, you should talk to them. And I hope and pray that you guys are doing good and having a good day. And with that being said, I will be praying for you guys. And that being said, may God be with you, and I will see you next time. Bye.